Then here with my family vacation ideas and our travel hacks for Australia. And we're going to have a little bit of a look today at telephone services and internet services and what we use, what are the best options, and we'll compare a few. Then one of the first questions you need to ask yourself is, do you actually need a telephone, or you could actually simply use Skype? We do actually use a mobile service. We pay $60 a year. But keep in mind, if you use something like Skype, you can get your own account, and then your friends can call you from the UK, or your family can call you from the UK, United States, wherever you have the Skype account located, and they'll charge only local rates. Whereas if you call anywhere in the world, it generally doesn't cost much more than pennies to call a cell phone. Then to have a look at the Telstra coverage, you can see Telstra is the first network. It's the most expensive, it's the high end. Then to see their coverage, there's three networks, Telstra, Vodafone, and Optus. And all the other companies mostly will have use their services. And they obviously have their own services as well. This is the Telstra Australian service, and I'll put links to the website. And you can see until you get to the Outback, it's pretty well covered. And they're a bit tricky how they show these, but Telstra's is significantly better than Optus, and Vodafone pretty well only exists in the cities, I'm going to say, although they would probably differ with that opinion. But all this is very good coverage all the way through here. The brown areas are 3G device. Then if you say you're traveling from Sydney to Brisbane, you're going to get some form of coverage all the way wherever you are. And if you're where people are in the outback, you're generally going to get some sort of coverage. If you're going to spend a lot of time in the outback, you might even want to get a 4G device, but that's going to work out there. But you know, you can talk to them and see what's available. In the cities, obviously very good coverage. Then this is the Optus network. We actually use the Optus network because it's the best compromise for us between price and service. Then I'll put links on the website and you can go and see, but you can't really see here, but if you had a list of where you're going, you could easily drop in here and see there's little gaps in it. They're starting to get a few little gaps in the service when even traveling from Sydney to Brisbane, which is, you know, one of the main routes in Australia. But it's pretty well all there. I can't remember many occasions where we couldn't plug in our dongle for the internet or have cell phone coverage on our trip from Brisbane to Adelaide, for example. Then it's only when you get a little bit further out that the Optus network isn't going to work for you. Then the Vodafone network, Vodafone's kind of like, it looks like a good coverage there, but in reality, these green areas here, that means that there's possibly going to work inside, or you might have to go outside and use it. Then there's a lot of places, even between Sydney and Melbourne, where it's not going to work. If you're only staying in these purple areas for your trip, then it's possible to have. Or if you're only going to stay in the cities, there's the Gold Coast, there's Brisbane, and that's not even some of the outer suburbs of Brisbane. Then if you're only staying in those areas, then sure, give Vodafone a try. But if you're going anywhere rural or a little bit remote, then I wouldn't really go with Vodafone, I mean. Then a quick look at SIMs. You can get them posted out somewhere in Australia or buy them online. Sometimes they're cheaper online, but this is the Telstra. Telstra is usually the most expensive. Then it's $2 for a tablet, or it's free for a regular SIM card. Then if you have an unlocked phone you want to bring from home that will work on the Australian network, then you can simply take that SIM card and put it in the phone. Otherwise, you can get a prepaid phone in Australia, and that's a $30 prepaid starter kit, and that will actually come with $30 credit as well. And then Or you can simply get, one of the phones. Telstra's obviously the most expensive, but like this little Galaxy is $100. But they have $20 phones as well if that's how you want to do it, or probably like from about $70 or $60 probably for a smartphone. Telstra's the most expensive, and then you have your recharge options, which I'll go through shortly. But do remember, if you do get one of these phones that come with a prepaid plan or something, remember it's not going to work when you get back home, um, and it's not going to work on any other networks. It's actually totally locked to that network. Then if you prefer to go on eBay, wherever you get cheap telephones at home, or in Australia, that may work better for you. Or take your phone from an unlocked network, or ask about how you could unlock it from your phone carrier at home. Then a quick look at the Telstra phone range. Then these shops are in most, Telstra shops are in most shopping centres. Then you walk in and you say you want to have a plan. If you're staying here for 12 months, I guess you'd like to do this. And you could get a little Telstra cruise for $29. And they don't charge that much for the phones because they like to get you with their call plans and lock you into their network. And Telstra will definitely get you in the long run, but you might need Telstra if you do need really good coverage. All right, we're on the second best network now, the Optus network. I'm going to have a little bit of a look. Then we're having a little bit of a look at Optus network, and this is I don't usually get plans. Like, I usually prefer to go prepaid, but for a plan, this is a BYO phone. This is, say, if you're bringing your phone from home, and 1.5 gigabytes for a 12-month plan, $30, minimum cost $360. That's probably 12-month plan, 10 gigabytes, $40 a month. On the Optus website, you can see here there's option to recharge online, but most of these people will allow you to recharge at a supermarket, petrol station, news agency, all over the place. You can recharge, or you can recharge online. Activating a SIM allows you to activate your SIM. You put your number in online and then you activate it, or sometimes they'll actually do it in the store, in the mall, wherever you buy your SIM card from. They'll actually activate your card and you can have it up and going within a few hours sometimes. Buy a SIM card, we've already looked at that. And then let's have explore plans, had a little bit of a look at that. Having a little bit of a look at the Optus prepaid international call rates, then Canada 4 cents. This is probably a particular type of rate you choose. Then you buy your data and then you choose your rate, 4 cents a minute. And then they're saying it's pretty well the same as a landline. Then prepaid plans, having a bit of a look here. We actually get a long expiry one. We actually get, there's some here 365 days for $60, like things like that. We tend to buy these and only use it for, then I guess with Optus you buy like how much you want. There's 44 gigabytes for 130 and 1 gigabyte for $10. And then you choose how long you want it for. And once you set it up, you can get it to recharge for that particular plan. Then with Vodafone too, it's a my mix. You select your perfect prepaid inclusions that suit you in Australia. Enjoy surfing the internet, select data, are your friends and family overseas, add a standard international minutes to a selected country, and things like that. Then you buy your SIM card. Then you activate or recharge your service on 30 to 39 or 40 to 49, and you get some free data. All right, that's how that works. And you choose your plan. And it looks like for $50 you can choose, for example, 25 days, 12 gigabytes, $50, and 120 minutes of international calls. That's one example. Then if you drop into a Vodafone store while you're here and you know you're staying in a city and their service is going to work for you, you can choose something like that. If you want to spend $50 a month for 120 minutes international calls and have 12 gigabytes. But although you have the three major carriers, the supermarkets, and I'm going to call them the supermarket carriers because there's others beside supermarkets, but Aldi has a 4G service, and then you can get the size you want. So let's go the large, for example, 2 gigabyte, unlimited standard calls, unlimited SMS. Then this is probably, oh yeah, 100 minutes selected international numbers. Then you could probably, that would do a lot of people. It looks like the international one started about $25 for 100 minutes international calls. Then that would probably suit a lot of people. Maybe it's too big for your budget, but that's at Aldi supermarkets. Then you would only recharge that at an Aldi supermarket because they don't allow recharging many other places, I believe. Then I believe Aldi also use the Telstra network, although then you'll have the full range of the Telstra network or a lot of it, but I think you'll also have it at a slower speed at some places. And that's why they're charging you probably a lot less than Telstra is. Then Coles supermarkets also have their own, and I believe Coles is pretty good value as well. There's $20, 7 gigabyte of data, unlimited talk, 2 standard national calls, unlimited text, a standard national SMS, 28 days expiry. All right, don't see anything about international. All right, then at $40 for a prepaid, and I'm assuming this is going to last longer than a month because prepaid is often better. Then you get your international calls. Oh, that's 28 days expiry. And they use the Optus network, which is pretty good. 12 gigabytes of data. Then there's a little comparison. And I believe this is another one of those that uses another network, and it's quite good as well. This is one of the better unknown ones. And it's amazing. And so if we want 7 gig, 28 days, unlimited international calls to 10 countries. Let's have a look what those 10 countries are. New Zealand, South Korea, UK, USA, Thailand, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and China. And there's plans as well, $19.90. No lock-in contracts, that's good. And I think their SIM card was free as well. There you go. Automatic renews, $39.90 every 28 days. Then if you're using the phone a lot and you're a backpacker, you might appreciate some of these plans. We don't use the phone a lot, then that's why we don't bother giving them our money. Another prepaid Boost Mobile, 40. You get the cheaper ones too. And then do your Skype calls. That's another option you could do. Because $40 for renewal every 28 days to these countries, it's probably not worth it. You're probably better off getting a Skype, doing calls on Skype occasionally, and your family call you. There you go anyway. Not exactly the perfect travel hack, but we do have other ideas on how much supermarket shopping is going to spend you, buying the food in Australia, flights in Australia, insurance for your trip to Australia, where to find the best accommodation. My Family Vacation Ideas is the name of the website. Like this video below, subscribe, get great ideas on how to travel to Australia. We're going to become the #1 Australia travel site. And that's all we pay. We don't like to give the telcos too much of our hard-earned, then we mostly call within the Optus network. Then calls within the Optus network are free. Then we use simply a prepaid $60 a year. It's actually $30 every 6 months. And we have unlimited calls between our own cell phones and other cell phones. And then for our other calls, our long distance calls, we use a Skype service. And for the internet, we use a little dongle like this. We put it in the side of our computer, and we use the Optus network for that too. And we pay $120 a year, and that's for about 25 gig or something like that. And that seems like enough. It lasted the whole year doing the website, as well as supplementing that with library visits and using free internet at the caravan parks and the campgrounds that we stayed at. But we'll go through the networks and we'll see which ones offer better value. And we'll also have a little look at the Skype to start with. Yeah, then with Skype, you can simply not pay and call your folks and your family as you probably already do. Then this is an option. There is some public broadband in Australia. It's not always very fast, but you can also pay for a Skype account. And if you know you're going to have good internet coverage on your trip, you can actually pay for a Skype account. And if you have it set up in the UK, then your friends will only pay UK prices to call you on your own Skype number. And we often Skype Canada or Korea or like all over the world. And we charge it up $30 at a time. And it seems to last like a year before we have to recharge it again. Like you'll find it difficult to spend that much money calling home to your mum's telephone, her cell phone in the United States or whatever. Even if you call every week for half an hour, you're going to have a hard time spending that much money. I'm not sure you'd want to go to the trouble of getting an Australian Skype number. I think probably a Skype number in your home country, because you'll probably want to keep it and have a permanent phone number for when you travel, perhaps. Next, there's, I guess, multi-country international SIM cards, and I simply wouldn't bother with these. They're not very good quality and the service isn't great. I can't think of many instances where using your own network and switching it to roaming is actually a good idea, and probably Australia is not any exception here. Then it's better to get a SIM card while you're here. You can purchase them from overseas, but they'll often cost you $30 or $40, and the same SIM card is often free here, or $1 or $2, or at the most $5 for a SIM card. Then roaming, unless you're on a very short trip and you're with like a company like 3 in the UK or something, it's probably not worth your effort to do roaming.